Tapia, Joe Brazil over there. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're the Insiders, and we're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. We're hanging out with you until noon. Okay, so from this morning, we had a pretty significant trade go down. A 3-team deal involving the Miami Heat, the LA Clippers, and the Utah Jazz, featuring, if we're building a team of trade candidates for the Kings, I think John Collins is the starting power forward.
Oh, yeah, John Collins is the leader of this team.
He is on the Mount Rushmore of guys who have recently been involved in trade rumors with the Kings.
Brother, John Collins' name has been thrown around like the last 4 years.
Is John Collins, Cam Johnson? Do you get them? Do you not? Are they worth it? Or are they not? John Collins no longer available. He's going to the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers dealt Norm Powell, near all-star, to Miami. Miami sends to Utah Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick. So I'm going to pour one out for the John Collins to Sacramento talk.
Yeah. Good riddance, by the way. Not to John Collins, but to the talk.
Yeah, man. I was always here was my thing. And when you change front offices, it's gonna alter how your team views players. Maybe Monty McNair and Mike Brown were not big on John Collins. Maybe Scott Perry and Doug Christie were.
Yeah.
But that it never happened. It always felt like, and this is what the Jonathan Kuminga thing feels like. Like, yeah, we'll take John Collins off your hands, but we're going to give you pennies for it.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, Danny Ainge just decided to torpedo his best assets. Are they tanking or are they not? They tried to do the Jazz did the thing that the Kings need to be cognizant of not doing. The Jazz did the thing where they went, okay, we got Lauri Markkanen, we got John Collins, we got Colin Sexton, who we believe in, we have Keontae George, who we believe in, we got Walker Kessler, who we believe in. This is a good core group, and we're going to thread the needle between rebuilding and not. And then they just tanked full out, and in the process torpedoed Colin Sexton's value. They got almost nothing back for him. John Collins, we were talking about last year. Are you including first-round picks in a deal for John Collins?
Yeah, now you get Kevin Love, who you're probably going to buy out. Shout out Slow-Mo Kyle Anderson, and then a second-round pick.
And a second for John Collins. This is a guy that we were like, hey, you got to go get this guy. So this is what, as we dissect the Kings offseason and go through the Kings offseason, this is where I'm terrified of the Kings getting. Where they're not going to fully tear it down to rebuild. Whether they want to or can or can't, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen.
Yeah, not this offseason at least.
And so do you run the risk of, hey, maybe this offseason, if you would shop Domantas Sabonis, maybe you're not getting everything you want for him, but you know what? You're probably getting a couple of firsts.
And that, to me, that's perfect. Like,
right. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe
if you could. I'm the same line of thinking or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe that just wasn't out there for him.
Yes.
I don't want to just jump out there, oh, yeah, you should have did that. Like, just the way I see it, the way it's been talked, this just seems like there was no market for any of these players.
And you run the risk of getting where Utah is.
Yeah.
Where I don't think the Kings will ever be that bad, because I don't think they're going to sit guys randomly for 40 games with hip issues that don't exist. But landing in that spot where all of a sudden you're going to the full rebuild and the teardown that you were trying to avoid, but now you're doing so with vastly depreciated assets.
Well, that, and like Utah just kind of set themselves back again, I feel. Like, you tanked, didn't get Cooper Flagg and all that. Now you moved on from Colin Sexton, you moved on from John Collins and all that. Lauri Markkanen's still around, so who knows what you get for that.
And it's not that those are bad players, but it wasn't getting them where they wanted to go. And so I really fear, and again, I also living in the gray area, I also feel like this could wind up being where this Kings kind of journey under Scott Perry leads them, where they're just not ever quite able to get back the value for the assets that they're sending out. And in 2028, 2029, whatever year it is, we're sitting here, Domantas Sabonis is gone, Zach LaVine's gone, DeMar DeRozan is way out of the league, and you're sitting here on a okay set of draft picks and no real significant assets to catalyze whatever this rebuild is.
That's kind of where I feel like your line of thinking right there is why I feel like they should have moved on from DeRozan this offseason. Like, I get you want to keep him around for the culture and all that, but also, like, what's he doing after next season? Like, what are you doing with that? Like, are you getting any assets for that? And maybe the plan is to win this season and kind of start a rebuild next year, but that's just all in theory type stuff.
Is that a plan, though, for this season?
I have no clue. It seems like right now they're just going to run it back with Dennis Schroeder. It seems like that's the plan.
Which they still haven't done, by the way. That deal has not been consummated yet.
His agency tweeted it out yesterday, no?
Did they?
Which some agencies, an agency tweeted it out. James Ham retweeted it and all that, but I'm not like nothing got announced yet.
They might have agreed to the deal.
Yeah.
Did they say he signed the deal?
I'd have to double check the tweet, but I don't know. That whole situation, we're still kind of waiting on it to be finished, I guess.
Yeah, it's a scary place to be. Because you tried to skip the rebuilding steps and ostensibly wasted a bunch of years.
See, but I'm gonna give him some time. I see where you're at and all that, but I'm gonna give him some time because I like going into it. Seemed like all right, no one's gonna want Levine or whatever.
I would have been shocked if they were able to trade Zach LaVine and receive genuine assets.
Yes, like you're not gonna be able to trade Levine. Sabonis, I'm not sure. Sometimes it feels like he's a king for the life, and sometimes it seems like, oh, they're gonna move on from him or whatever. It's just always fluctuating. So you're not moving on from him. DeMar's a culture guy, and it's just I think just hearing that these guys really don't have value, but also seeing that they're going after Kuminga, I think is kind of encouraging for me.
Is it?
Yes, because he's actually trying though. He's trying to make something out of nothing. I feel.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you're gonna land Kuminga. Like who knows? Like it's you hear one thing or the other. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But you go back to the last regime or whatever, and it's like, oh, they couldn't do anything, blah blah blah, and you land guys like Glenn Robinson just for the year and all that stuff. We're here. It's like you added Schroeder, where I'm not the biggest fan of trying to win now rather than rebuild and just kind of take a step back to move forward and all that stuff. But I don't hate Dennis Schroeder, and if you're able to get this Kuminga deal done, then I'm all in. And I don't think Scott's here sitting with his assets, like the things around on the roster. Like, I can't really do anything this year. Like he's actively working. So to me, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about what you're talking about right now.
I want to put a pin in the Kuminga thing. The way that happens, and the thing I'm less worried about Scott Perry. From everything we've got so far, you have him drafting the right type of players we've talked about. The Kings needing, we've seen them now pursue Jonathan Kuminga, and theoretically they're still pursuing him because they recognize size, athleticism. This guy's checking a lot of boxes for a potential like star caliber player that you can acquire for potentially on the cheap. So I'm down with that idea. I'm not trying to say Scott Perry and the Kings front office are wrong, and I'm with you. Like they need time. Well, this was not going to get fixed this year.
Yeah.
My worry is that it's unavoidable. That it is okay. We got a gap year this year. That's what we're calling it. We're calling it a gap year. You hope to make the play in and maybe you get into the playoffs and something weird happens. Okay, cool. But I don't know that you're going to be guaranteed to be able to trade. Okay, next year is when all the big movement happens.
Well, the thing is too is like we don't even really know what the plan is. We're kind of just going off of what they're doing, but it's like maybe.
Does that bother you?
Doesn't bother me, just more so, I don't know, we're just kind of waiting and seeing at that point. Because, like, I'm just of the belief, all right, they're going to run it back. I think they'll be a decent play-in team this year. Maybe they can sneak into the first round. And next year, maybe you move off of Levine. You see where you're at with Sabonis and all that and just kind of go from there. Like, it's a weird spot that they're in. There's no real clear future right now. That's the issue, I guess. If I have an issue, there's no clear future for me. Like, I don't believe in this team beyond 2 seasons.
Yeah, it bothers me. I mean, it felt like we had something going not too long ago, and there was a path forward at least. At least there was some sort of direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I'm in wait-and-see mode right now. Like, just...
Oh, that's boring, man.
Well, it is, but it's like DeMar DeRozan, like, does anyone see him being a king for 3 years or anything like that? No, he's here for the culture. Maybe you move off of him at the deadline and all that. Levine, we've talked since he got here. Yeah, once this next year's done, like, you're going to move off of him. Like, just everything is just moving towards not a blow up, but just retooling and all that. So it's like, how do you really believe in this team right here?
It's hard to blame.
And it's
Scott
just like
Perry
I guess my point is like, all right, well, I guess I have to wait till next year to see what this really starts looking like. Like I tweeted like a few days ago, I was like, yeah, they're gonna be a strong playing team this year or whatever. And now the real rebuild start after next season.
It's like, what makes you confident in that though? What makes you think like, oh, hey, the moves that aren't there this year, next year?
Nothing makes me confident. It's just, I guess that's from what I've seen. That's just what the plan looks like. That's just what it looks like to me. Like I don't believe in Dennis Schroeder as a guy who's going to lead my team or as a starting point guard for any team for like a long-term future.
They apparently do
like
because they dramatically overpaid him.
Trying to be optimistic maybe here a little bit.
Maybe,
I don't like
it. I don't know, man.
Dennis Schroeder to me is a stopgap point guard. Like he's a good guy, but he's never sticks.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I don't know. I don't see a future here right now. So I'm kind of waiting and seeing for Scott Perry to do something before I have like this strong take where it's like, oh no, blah blah blah. Like I'm really bought into the whole, like I love the whole Kuminga rumors and stuff like that. I love that they're actually trying, but you got to wait and see what happens there.
Let's talk about the Kuminga stuff. Where are the Kings on trading for